Hi, my name is Zhu, also from China, from Hangzhou, and I'm a TCM doctor, and I'm also a teacher in Zhejiang Chinese Medical University. My major is Chinese medicine, and also learn a lot about like acupuncture and massage. So by those years, I'm also focused on doing about the herbs cushion. I don't know, do you guys have interest on it? Because like taking about the herbs to cooking their meals for healthy. Today, I'm so happy that being invited by Jay to share my experience about some COVID-19 and also about some mode, or how to say, the thinking mode about what we have in here. Okay, so I will show you my PowerPoint. Yeah, can you see it? Can you, all guys can see it? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the healthy and thinking mode, especially under this kind of the epidemic situation. So according to Jay's suggestion, I focus about like the two parts. First, we were going to talk a little bit about like the healthy things, and also talking a little bit like about how and why China taking about the total different way to control this kind of the disease. Okay, and so top one is some sharing about what I say, what I experienced, and also what I did during this kind of period, the last 2 months. And in part two, we were talking about some thinking, or we call it the different way of thinking between Chinese and foreigners. Okay. So first one, this kind of the topic that is from Jay. Jay, you already mail me and tell me about this kind of the saturation, about oxygen saturation. And we all know that about this kind of things, especially in the COVID-19, they have a kind of the 3 level. Can you see it clearly, right? You can see it, okay? It's a little bit too, I'm not sure it's too small or too big.
That's okay.
Okay, so we know that it's the oxygen in our body, or we say when the normal level is about, when you're doing the test in the blood, doing the test, about on the 98%, that will be in the venous blood, that is 75. So you will find about a lot of people were doing a kind of click on the finger, try to find it out how the body and how the oxygen goes on. And we know that they have about 3 levels. First one, around here, 95% to 100%, we call it normal. And 90 to 95, that is a kind of media, a little bit, how to say, a little bit lower. And if less than 90%, that is a kind of severe situation. And we find out the COVID-19, this kind of disease, that people, maybe at the 3 days before, the symptom is only about like a fever and the chest distension, coughing, dry coughing, and also sweating, fever, this kind of thing. But suddenly, the line also drops, like suddenly raising very high, the oxygen quickly drop a lot. And then from the CT, find it out, the lung totally turns to white lung. I think last time I had already explained it, how and why this kind of white lung comes out. Because the lung, the cell are died. It's, like the, like the coral in the ocean. If they are died, they are turning into white. The same as our lung. Those cells are all die, so they cannot finish about the job of exchanging the air. So it's like the toilet become white. And then in here in China, we're doing a kind of method. It's about that like 2-way, especially for the severe case, like the person who is less than 90%. I using WM refers to the Western medicine. CN, that is Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, okay? So Western medicine, in this kind of the severe cases, and you know, in Wuhan, the first epidemic hospital is called the Jinyingtan Hospital. This is also the first hospital which accept the COVID-19 patient. And in there, because we had the experience about 2003, you know that 2003, what happened in there, right? SARS. And at that time, at the very beginning, the doctor, or how to say, the patient, only been given the Western medicine treatment, like the, how to say, like a lot of like the anti-inflammatory, those kind of the drugs, and a lot of this kind of hormone things. So people, maybe their life been saving back, but you find their bone, their inner organs are totally a little bit dysfunction. So, but in some hospital or in some place, people find combined with the TCM or combined with the Chinese herbs, those people have less this side effect. So this time, TCM quickly joined together with Western medicine together, doing like that. So firstly, when the patient at the earlier stage, maybe it's media stage, and we directly giving about like the Chinese patent medicine or some prescriptions. That thing I had already gave it to Ursula and Jay, those kind of herbs, what kind of level, what kind of the formula, like this. But if those patients totally suddenly drops to this situation, it's a kind of severe, it's a very sharp and dangerous situation, and the oxygen has totally like this. So we can do like this way. First, using the West medicine like the respiratory support, you need a machine to do it, and it's very dangerous. The patient, you know this machine, right? ECMO. It's a kind of like machine. Even your heart stop beating. If you have this kind of machine, it still can building a kind of circulation in outside. It is a kind of exterior circulation, and for blood and for the lung. So this machine using very frequently this year in China, because a lot of patients will quickly drops to very dangerous situation. So at this stage, they're using this for support, and then together with the Chinese herbs. Do you know this two formula? These two. First one is called 生脉注射液. You know 生脉, that is 脉动, and some about other herbs. 生脉饮. Did you heard that before? 生脉饮. It's okay. Later I will show you the formula, or sending to Jay, and you can share it. Okay. So, but this one, our Chinese people had already make it into injection. So it's just like a patent medicine. So it can do the injection through the veins, the blood, like this one. 生脉饮, this kind of the prescription, very good about tonify the fluid in the body. And you know about a lot of people in the high fever and keep sweating. So their body fluid has been consumed a lot, right? And their like the urination, about their like kidneys function, all are being disturbed. So at this time, this kind of things can tranquilizing it. And the second one is called 独参汤. 独参汤. I think some of you maybe heard before. 独 it means single, alone, like this. 参 it means the ginseng. You know that? Ginseng or ginseng. Yes. So 独参汤, that is only using about one ginseng, cut it, and pour into the decoction, drinking it. Because in ancient time, people think someone will die. They're like only have exhale, less in here. At this time, they were boiling a kind of the ginger. It's quickly will saving the life back. So with this kind of method, a lot of the people, they find after the respiratory support being take off, they can quickly rebuild their immunity and rebuild their healthy qi, according to our TCM we say. Like that means they have less side effect and also have no other combined symptoms, okay? For media, the one, I think Jay, last time I have already given the formulas and share it to you, and you can have a look. So this time, and also telling you a kind of story that is in the Henan province. You know, Henan province is far away from Wuhan. You know, it's a very far, the two province. So there has a hospital at the very beginning because they heard this kind of virus. You know what they're going to do? They're going to burning a kind of the plant in the hospital from the gate to the room. Last time I had already told Jay and Uzla, I think some of you maybe heard. Its first choice is moxa, you know, that kind of grass. Yeah, that one is very to kill the virus and also can prevent from those kind of the things. But some people are very sensitive to that moxa. So there has another herbs, very good. It's called a changzhu. Changzhu. Chang is in first term. Zhu is in the second way. So this herb, yes, Usla already bring the paper. Yeah, changzhu, this one, the smelling is less, you know, some people can bearing it because some moxa, some person the throat, like our dear Jay, he cannot bear about this kind of the things. But this one, if you guys have it, maybe you don't need to burning it. You put it in a kind of sachet, hung it in the around the window or about like in the around the door. So it's also a good way to protect you from the evil qi, or we call the bad things. Okay, Chang is the first term, Zhu is the second. Changzhu, Changzhu. And yes, you see Wusla how they're already making a kind of sachet like that. So just rub it and smelling it. It's good. In the ancient time, you know, the ladies, you know, they always were making a tiny sachet and around their breast. It's a good smelling. And also it can keep the bad thing away. And there has another one, but I know it's forbidden in your country. It's called a peilan. These two herbs always making together to put it in a tiny bag because those things they can keep away from that. Because peilan contains a little bit toxin, so it always using not directly eating it, seldom using to drinking it. But we always put it in the tiny bag to keep you far away from those things. Okay. So. And then we were going to say about the advantage of TCM together with Chinese medicine. Firstly, the recovery period. We find it's short. You know, the people from the emergency, you know, from the ICU and back to the normal room, the period was shortened. Really, together with the West medicine and the Chinese medicine together. When the people coming back, they find the side effect, their body, their immunity, their emotion, the reaction to the outside, much better than before. And also, in some hospital, for the medium patient, you know, not very serious, they directly using the needle in like Zhu Sanli, the ST36, and about Guanyuan, Qihai, and also about the Tanzhong, those areas, to doing about some like the acupoints on it. And it really helps. But it's depending on the practitioner. If you are not very, how to say, good at the needle, you can imagine the people worrying about the custom and need to do the needles. It's very hard, right? But if you can using the herbs together with the West medicine, it's a very good. Second, it's prevent the media turns into the survey type, really. Because, that's why at the very beginning, especially in January, February, the earlier of the February, why the Wuhan was, or how to say, we are so feel panic. Why? Because at that time, suddenly, lots of the people has the symptom, and they all rush into the hospital. Can you imagine? And before, maybe one day it's about like hundreds, but suddenly 10,000, 1,000 or 10,000 people rushing to your hospital. So the hospital, the patient, and also about the public health department, they are all feel crazy. And that is why our Chinese government say, no, we should do building the hospital. And not only building the hospital for the how to say, for the person who has COVID-19, they also building a lot of the hospital for the suspected patient. Why? This kind of quarantine, it will keep those people on the test. Why? Because, in the same room, we all have the similar symptom. We are still can using the same treatment, right? If you think you don't building about this kind of hospital, people keep going there. The hospital will collapse. The doctor will collapse, right? Like the beginning of the Italy, like the Italian doctors, why they cry, why they collapse, why some of them suicide, because they find they cannot bearing such a kind of way. That you will find the patient is coming like waves. So if you can do a kind of stop, and then to do a kind of stage, cut into 3 stages, then it's good. So in different stage, TCM and West medicine all using together. So here in the survey, terrible or the dangerous situation, it will can keep it in there. The median, not let it turn to there. So this is about the TCM together with the Chinese, with the West medicine. It's the advantages, okay? And so that is what I sharing about the some feeling and some points which Jay asked me to wanted to say it about oxygen themes. And the second part, I want to talking a little bit about the thinking mode. The thinking mode, that is why this time China did the job which we did is totally different from United States, from the UK, because this is also made me thinking a lot. And I found it out they have some relationship with our people's mind. Yes. There are about 4 aspects. First is called order of the priority. In Chinese, it's called 轻重缓急. 轻 it means light. 重 it means heavy. 缓 it means not so rush. 急 it means rush or terrible, like this. 轻重缓急, you will find it, they are called the opposite, right? You can say, I have my deadline for sending this kind of report is next Friday. What are you going to do? Your deadline is a Friday, but today are you going to finish it today? Maybe some of you were doing this, but I think a lot of people will have say, okay, today is Friday, and today I will going to enjoy my weekend. Let's keep that job in next week, right? So, but if suddenly you got a call from your boss, he said, I want it tomorrow. What you going to do? Of course, it's very heavy. It's heavy, and you need to do it. Otherwise, you will lose all things. So, 轻重缓急, that is means if something we need to know how to arrange the things. Because we can see a lot of news about in what happened in United States. People go to the street, go to the city, go to the square. They say they want freedom. They want back to work, right? They want their money back. Otherwise, they cannot pay for the rent, cannot pay for the house, or lots of things. In fact, in China, we also have this kind of problem. Because of the quarantine in Wuhan, a lot of people who rent the house, who maybe they just using all their money for buying a house, and they needed to pay the bank every month. They are all under pressure. But why our Chinese people choosing to self-quarantine? Why? First, because we know how terrible about this kind of diseases. That means the government or the public health center had telling us how terrible about this diseases. And we have 5,000-year history. And in the history, we experience a lot of this kind of disasters, like earthquake or like an epidemic. And each dynasty die. They always will have a lot of war in the country, in the kingdom. So a lot of people will die. And the die will leading to the disease happened, letting the epidemic things come. So there has a kind of it's just like a stamp in our mind. We need to respect and we need to aware of this kind of disaster. So when this kind of things happened, the central government and the Hubei province, they said, no, the Wuhan should lock down. Of course, there are lots of people escape. I telling the truth, when the order been sent out, there seems like about 30 or 300,000. I'm not sure how many person they escape because they say, oh my God, I don't want to be locked in this city. I don't want dying here. So they rush out. But still some people, they listen to this kind of order. They do the self-quarantine in there. And in here, I also should just say one more thing, that is why those people, they dare to do this kind of self-quarantine, because China has a very interesting, organization. It's called the committee. The committee, for example, this building, in this small district, we have several buildings. They have a kind of committee in there. And when the city, in this district, the city have many districts, this district being locked down, and they will have some guys to be the volunteer, to sending the food, sending the rice, to buy the oil, buy the water, and even help the older people to buy the drugs, sending to their room. So then that means the people, I can stay in the house. I can stay there. Why? Because there's someone come to helping us. So this is why our Chinese people, or the Wuhan people, choosing to do the self-quarantine by themselves. Second one, that is, we say, even you run out of Wuhan, because the news was separating so fast. A lot of people are telling you the truth. It's true. We have the ID card to say which province you come from, right? So you escape from Hubei province, you come to other province. They will see your ID card. They will see you that. And then when the government say we need to do the test for all the people who escape out of the Wuhan, so they were sent into some hospital or to some hotel, and then to do the nuclear acid test to find if they're positive or negative. So like this, it's really very interesting. And the second one, when Wuhan, this kind of things happened, all the other provinces around the Hubei province, like Zhejiang, we also have a kind of, oh, Zhejiang is not in contact with Hubei province. Zhejiang, Anhui, and Hubei, these 3 provinces like this. Zhejiang say, okay, we should send the alarm to all the people. That is to decrease the transportation, this kind of thing, like the high-speed train, like all the things. They're going to do the test on the temperature, the body temperature for the people who enter the station or not. This is just an alarm to letting the people know, should be careful about these things. Second one, I should say, that is called dialectic thinking. This is also a kind of TCM way, we say it's called a differentiation. How to think? That is, yes, it's true. The quarantine, or we call the lockdown, it's really inconvenient. And I don't know, did you see some movie or see some video on the YouTube about the people when they are being locked down? They finding a lot of interesting to finding themselves. You know, they have a kind of tank, they have the fish in it, and the guy is sitting there and to do the fishing in the tank by himself in his house. So our Chinese people, because bearing so much things, it's just like a stamp taken from generation to generation. So we will try to balance our life. When we are locked down, when we are do the self-quarantine, we will try to balance our life. We're going to find some fun for ourselves. Later, I will show you that video. It's very funny. And also, the people were doing the sports, play the badminton in the room, or even they have a lot of like making a kind of the movie or video, those things. This is also a kind of mind balance. When you are locked down, you should not only see the negative side, right? You also should to balance your emotion. If you keep say, damn it, I don't like this government, why they keep doing these things to us. I want freedom, I hate all those things. If your emotion are focused on this, what will happen to you? You are just like keep to having the angry in your body. And the angry and this kind of warrior emotion corresponding to which organ? Maybe some of you are learning the TCM. Yeah, it's like the liver corresponding to the wood, right? The wood with the lung. Lung is which element? Metal, yeah, right? Wood and mental, we know they have what kind of relationship. So if you keep your emotion doing like this, you are angry, you are yelling, you are punishing yourself, you are producing a kind of bad fire. And this fire also will broken the balance in your body. And that's why you will find some people, they are so scared, and then their body have some fake symptom, like have the virus. They have the throat pain, they have the distension feeling around the chest, and they have their body temperature rising high. Because why? If you cannot balance your mind, cannot balance your emotion, you will lose control by yourself. And those days, we know emotion is such important and such important things which are hurting us, right? And the third things I want to say is about our called a national conscious. This is a very interesting thing. I found compare with some foreigners, because I'm a teacher in charge of a lot of foreigner students. So I compared the Chinese kids with the foreigner kids. I found our Chinese kids seems to have a lot, of course, most of them, not totally, maybe like 80% of the kids, they still have the national conscious in their mind. So they know country. If your country is stable, then your tiny home or tiny family can stable. Without the outside, you stable. That always like the egg put on the how to say the egg, it's easily will falling down. So we have this kind of national conscious. When the Wuhan have this kind of things, you will find out all the doctors, they have 30,000 doctor and nurse. They flying, they taking the train, rush into Wuhan. They know they are also scared. They no one say I don't scared. No, when the journalists do the interview on them, they always say, yes, I'm scared. I am very afraid of this kind of thing. But our country is under disaster. So at this time, what I can do? I'm a doctor. I'm going to saving about our people. It's true. They are not actor. They are just a normal guys, just like your neighborhood. When you do the interview, there are even some guys are shy to say this. But I can feel. Tell you the truth, I cry a lot when I reading a lot of story. I see a lot of videos. I was so moved, and my emotion. Yes, my emotion is like this. My emotion is rough, but I can feel the national conscious. So making us can doing this kind of support. One part has a problem, all that goes to support it. And the last one I want to say is a kind of the called method. Why our Chinese can do such a good job. I don't know, can you reading this kind of the Chinese words or not? Let me see. 新基建, the infrastructure, how to say, like the foundation built. And at the beginning, China, we're building a lot of bridge, we're building a lot of the high-speed way, we're building a lot of letting the way goes to the tiny villager, even the villager only about like the 10 or 5 people living there, older people living there, but they still building building the way to there, and set the 4G or 5G, 4G, 3G, the tower in there. Why? You will find it's such good. When this kind of things coming out, all the people can see from their mobile phone to see the information, to know how the country go. Tell the truth, my grandma, she's already 80, let me see how old is she. Yeah, 84 years old. This morning when she talked with me on the phone, and also in February, she told me all the news. She knew all the things. Why? Because she said, I can see the TV. I can see the text and message from the mobile phone. And also they have a lot of like the governor of the village of the country. They come to their house to telling you about these things. So from the top to the tiny people, we all can accept. We know what is happening now and what is that. So that is a kind of things based on the information or based on the data. This one is very important. And also I want to show you a kind of the picture, how our things goes on. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
The green one. Yeah. Yeah. You can see this is my mobile phone. When this kind of this happened, the central government talked to the Alibaba. I think you all know Alibaba, right? And they have a kind of data center. They say, could you help me to making a kind of the central data to letting the healthy people to do a kind of classification. So we have a kind of, we found a kind of this thing up in the app. That is a kind of one. You can see you have the months, you have the time, you have your name, and here is a green one. So that means, for example, I'm staying in Zhejiang. I didn't have any contact with the people from Wuhan. I didn't been there before. So when I do the application, when I send in during the 14 days, where I been, should I stay here? Of course, it's depending on your personal, how to say, your you are honest or not. If you're a liar, you say you're cheating. When you find it out, you are being punished. So if you do the application honest to tell you who are you, and have you been to Wuhan, and have you met any person from Wuhan, from Hubei province? Have you eaten any like the animal, the wild animal things? Then you are got a code. You can see this kind of code is a kind of color code, right? So my code is green because I'm healthy. But the people in Wuhan, when they finish about applying, they have a kind of color is yellow, or the person have the virus, there is red. But this one is in your phone, not in here, no, just in your phone. When you go out, or how to say, when you have to do the self-quarantine after 14 days or 21 days, and you have no fever, you have no symptom, you didn't go to the hospital, then you can apply again. Then the code will turn into green. With this green, you go to the railway station, go to the public station. Even now, right now in here in Hangzhou, we're still using this. When I enter my building, I need to show this to the guard. When I go to do shopping in a market, they were using, it's very funny. Each time when we go in there, we were doing like this, using the hand like this. And they were using a kind of temperature gun, doing like this or doing like this. But mostly we will check the body temperature around here. So always you will see all the people is doing like this. Using a machine, test your temperature, you showing them this kind of the code. When the two things like this, I don't know, can you see it or not? Like this. So when you do like this, and then they will let you in to do the shopping and go back. And also worrying about the mask. I don't know, in China, we have no this kind of the, how to say, so big reaction on the people wearing the mask or not. Because we know it's a transmission by this kind of the, that by speaking, by talking, by the speed. So we're going to worry about mask. Even now, we go outside, we're still worrying about this. And when you go home, first washing your hands, and then to do the, the, how to say, the fact, yes, on the feet, the feet, maybe you step on, you will step on the virus, you clean it, and after it, you take off the mask and throw it away. Throw in the, the toxin dustbin in there. And but right now it's much better because Hangzhou, they have no this kind of the case anymore. So we don't throw it every day. We still keep using it. Yeah, so this is a kind of way of thinking. So when we know there's a disaster, so we trust our central government. Because, our central government, there has a kind of one saying, they say, serving the people. So even the people, no matter how old are you are 80, you are 90, or even you are 100, they were still using the any treatments to helping you. And I see a lot of the video, even some old people in Wuhan, they say, don't waste the time and about the opportunity on me, save it, and to save me about a younger guy. But the doctor said, no, we're saving all the people. We never abandon the people like that. And even there has an older lady, because they are this kind of treating, if you have already paid the insurance, the insurance in China, they are all free. Really. You can say if a person had already entered to the ICU or how to say in there, they still save it. But if you didn't do about like pay the insurance in China, that's why some foreigners, when they fly to China, they need to pay for themselves. Yeah, it's like this way. So I should say, through this, letting us to see a lot of difference. I can see the people in abroad, they want freedom. Yeah, I should say I respect about their courage. But for me, I still think life is a top one thing. when you are survived, then you can to talk about other rights, right? Your life rights, life right is the top one thing. If you are die, freedom is no meaning. So this is our thinking mode, our Chinese people thinking mode. So never give up and always respect life, and also how to say, to know for the important things, what things we can cut, we can sacrifice. Maybe this is those kind of disparities making our Chinese people can survive, or how to say, through this disaster. Yeah, that is all what I share in here.
Hello. I just wanted to ask you if you think that the people here in Europe are a lot less disciplined with this coronavirus than what they are in China, how they go about it and how they think because of the mindset.
You mean about the people in Europe? It's a little, compare with us. Yeah. You are a little bit, yes. It is true. First, I respect about each person their thinking, because some people think no freedom, I will die. They choosing this kind of way of thinking, and about like their self-discipline, this kind of thing. I'm not a kind of going to say so good Chinese people do or so bad. No, I don't want to do this kind of judgment, because I know people have different kind of background, different kind of understanding about life. They have different kind of idea about the whole world. This is what I really know through this kind of things. And but for us, I still believe that respect our life, because we come to this world, it's not a kind of the easy job. So living is not an easy job. We fight, we become the human being is using such a long time, and your father mother makes you to become like this. This is a kind of it's already a kind of, after a lot of competition, a lot of the survival, this kind of competition. So why there's something like I told Jay and Ursula a lot of before. We always wish our bank account has a lot of zero in the end, right? We have a lot of zero in the end. But without front, if the front has a one in there, those kind of zero has a meaning. Without this one, zero is only zero, right? So this is our Chinese people think. That's why, me and my friends, my family, when we're making a toast, the first word is for healthy. 祝你健康, that is, we all need healthy like that. And even after this, when we met each other, we always say, money is a secondary. Life and healthy is the number one. We're always talking like this. So, but for some suggestion, I really to think, maybe we know your guys is more than you know me, you know us, right? So we know, we can understand about why you choosing, why the Europe or the United States people choosing this way. But you sometimes, maybe because of some medias or because of some newspaper, so you have a kind of different view on us. I should say, this is maybe leading to a kind of the, how to say, we know the things happening here, but you only can see some part of us in there. I don't want to be a kind of say, how to say, to blah, 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 so good about country. No, I don't want to do this. We still have a lot of the mistake and the troubles which we met, but we really want to share this kind of the idea and experience to you all. Yeah.
That was what we were told to begin with, that this virus started in China, in a particular city. Has it ever been investigated what the reason was of that virus starting there?
Okay. Yes, about this kind of thing at the very beginning, not your guys, our Chinese people, we are all blame the Wuhan people. We all blame the people who eating the white bite. We say, why you eating that kind of thing? And why you bring that kind of virus into human area, right? We all doing like that. But tell the truth, there are so many information crowded in there. Some people find the virus in China being found, it's the second generation, not the first generation, according to the INA in the virus. They say they don't know where is the first generation. In China, we only found out about the second generation. So, it's a kind of the, very accurate situation. The politicians, they were using this to blah, 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 blah. But no matter how, as human being, as a doctor, for myself, first, I do blame the action about eating the wild animals. Because, our ancestors have been using about 5,000 years to telling us what kind of meat is good to eat. We eat fish, chicken, meat, cow, like a sheep, those things, duck, those things. And I also, at that time, I'm making a kind of the tiny, like a Twitter in your country. I said our ancestors had already select the best food for us. Why you still want to eating about the one which abandoned by our ancestors? If that one is suitable for us, we had already eaten a lot. It is true. And now, after this kind of things, there has a kind of the, law, or we call it the principle to say forbidden to eating the wild animal in China now. If you eat it, you will be punished, or even you will send into jail. It's true. Right now, they have this kind of the paper is going to do this kind of thing now. But where the virus come, and if you're giving about a virus, like a Wuhan virus or China virus, I cannot accept this one. If we say like this, the AIDS, where it come from, right? The H1N1, where it come from. So virus is virus. I don't want to pulling about the country or the political things around it. We are doctors. We are healthy keepers. So we just focus on how to keeping our healthy and far away from those bad things. This is what my opinion.
But is there any research going back to the first generation? Where is this first generation coming from that you are talking about?
Okay, you mean about this kind of virus? Yes, it's true. And right now in China, we found it's about the second generation, and they have a lot of the researchers had already, classify about the gene of this kind of the virus. And right now they are doing about the research on the vaccine and the vaccine to do on this kind of virus. And where it comes from, I should say this kind of the original one, the first generation, it's found in the bat, that kind of animal, bat. That one, their body temperature is higher than our human body. And their heart rate, the heartbeats rate is faster than our human body. So those kind of virus can survive in their life. If we keep distance from them, those viruses will not going to attack us. But if you broke the boundaries, like you eating, you hunting, or even you go close to there, those viruses were sent into us. And those generations enter into our body. This is the terrible, or we call it the horrible part of this virus is the Covid-19. They can do the transformation, or we call it the upgrade. Yes, it's true. Their shape, their original shape, it's similar like the SARS. But the SARS has a kind of the disadvantage as a virus, I should say. That is, at the very beginning, they will have suddenly symptoms. But for COVID-19, at the very stage, even for 10 days or 4 days, 10 days, they have no symptom. So they can hide in the people's body. And then suddenly, after, generates in the cells, it can separate into the whole body and leading our body falling into a situation is called the inflammatory hurricane. And then our people, all the organs are dysfunction leading to that. So the original, you say like the zero where it is and how can we do on it? I should say, even though we found it out, the original one, right now in the human being body, it's had already upgraded several times. It's had already to the 3 or 4 generations already. So what we can do now is try to find about how it changed, how it transformed, and to find the INA, the gene, and then to do the vaccine. And I can telling you right now, the vaccine in China had already goes to the 4th step. That is the clinic experience. There are some younger guys, they are a volunteer to do the vaccine. Right now, they are going to being cared by the doctor, try to find those vaccine okay or not.
Let me ask one question before I open the microphone regarding the future. As I put in my letter to you, viruses are viruses, and we expect more will come. So from a Chinese point of view, how do we prepare as a human race to handle viruses as a class of attackers, so to speak? Is there a way from a Chinese point of view that you folks are working with not just virus prevention, but in our own bodies dealing with viruses as a class?
Yeah. You know, from wide away, I think first thing that is you should have the respect conscious. That means nature have so many things we have no idea about them, because you know for hundreds and thousands and million years we have a kind of thought that we are the king of the nature. We can do anything. We can do anything in the nature. But in fact, that is because nature not letting those things come to us. So if we broken the boundary, that is we bring the disaster to ourselves. So first, have a respect mind. Second, I should say, in the next century, the biology technical, it is a very good but also terrible area, because you know why? When the people find out our human beings gene, how our human beings DNA, and then we can do building the gene bomb, or even can building some virus. Yeah, don't think about there are some human being, they are enter society, enter human being. So maybe they were going to build some virus to kill people. You know, even right now, there's a room in United States. They say this kind of virus was made by Bill Gates because they have a kind of founder and they want to washing the human being. You know, so many rumors. But for me, I think from wide away, first have a respect and has a kind of the awareness. And second, from TCM way, we had already mentioned about how to keep the balance. I still emphasize again, balance. If you keep your house, your personal, healthy, emotion, biology, psychology, those way, all keep in a balanced way. That is a saying in our TCM said, 正气存内，邪不可干. That you have the healthy in the inside. The evil chi will not going to attack you. But of course, if you finding the virus is attack your gene, that we have no choice. Okay, yeah.
I had more comments.
Yeah.
When it comes to the herbs mentioned, I looked them up, and because here in the United States, most people that have had severe symptoms and have died have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and diabetes and lung problems already. The herb used is a contraindication for many diabetic medications. So it might not work in all societies.
Jay, could you repeat it? Could you repeat it?
Yeah, she was saying that the herbs that you mentioned are contradictory, contraindications to some of the particular sugar conditions that the older people come in, diabetes, etc. And so what about these situations where it's contraindicated, these herbs in relationship to that? You gave us the herbs here, and Ursula and I worked with that for 2 weeks, and we found that to be very useful. So, Kaisa, was that okay? Did I do that right? Okay.
Okay. So yes, it's true. You know, like the diabetes or like the high blood pressure, and those have the basic disease patient when they about to taking some herbs, or we taking especially some patent medicine. They have a lot of the patent medicine inside, including about like the sugar, or including about some other herbs. And so for this type of the people, you know, the patent medicine should thinking twice, and should giving about a kind of personal formula. That is one way. If you have also been affected by the COVID-19 virus, or you have this kind of the diabetes, then you have need to using the herbs to balance it. And that is what we learn from our Chinese formula. That is should to according to the person's body constitution to balance it. For example, like a diabetes, you should classify this person is type 1 or type 2. And does this guy only taking the pills, already taking the pills, or already doing about the injection now? So different stage, the body constitution is different. For example, I should say like the person had taking the pills to control the blood sugar, and at this time they are like the pancreas or the liver and about other organs still not in a dysfunction area. So giving about some herbs that can balance it. Like this type of the diabetes, mostly it's a little people have like the lots of sweating and the skin, like the thin, and about eating a lot, those kind of symptoms. So you can see sweating a lot, that is means the yin fluid being hurt. So when you're going to balance it, you should to tonify this part to balance it. If you had already have the dysfunction in the organs, maybe you need to using about some herbs to rebuild it, or how to say, to supplement, doing like this way. I don't know, did I answer in the right way or right question?
Okay.
Kaisa,
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just very, very important to know Chinese medicine is 5,000 years old. They know about 1,000 or more herbs. And I never saw in China a formula what just was given for each one the same. Even we are sitting here, maybe we are sort of healthy. They look at the pulse, they look at the tongue, they look at all the voice, they look at the organs, they look how they move. They go really into the history what a person has, and then they choose the herbs. And it's not only these 3 herbs, it's maybe 12 or 15 herbs. And you just have to go to somebody who studied that. And I know in Switzerland, there are some good doctors who really studied that. Some were sitting with us. Beat also studied. Yonai studied. Barbara is not here. I studied just on the side. And I know in USA, there are great doctors. They even give courses here in Switzerland, in Israel, all over the world. And these people, they know what this is and how this works. So I think you can't just take a formula and sort of, and it goes for everyone. It's clear when you have diabetes 1 or 2 or something else, or COPD, that you have to deal that with the temperatures of the herbs and everything out by grams and everything.
Yeah, like Ursula mentioned about the herbs, like the formulas. Yes, 5,000 years. And right now in China, we have several schools or several groups. One is called the classical formula group. You know, like if you've been to Japan, to Tokyo, you in there like the pharmacy shop, you will see about lots of patent medicine, and they are all taking the formula from the Shanghan Lun and those kind of books, because they thought the classical formula had already been tested. It's useful for the human being, and it's true, because Shanghan Lun needs you to has a very good ability to do the differentiation. Means what? The person's tongue, eyes, face, the body temperature, the belly, even the skin, like this, flexible, all the things or not, the pulse, all the things. If you're good at this, so you can using the classical formula directly. That is why you can see about some doctor even didn't change the dosage, didn't change about the herbs in there. But beside this group, there has another group. They thought person body constitution is changed. The city, the environment, even the quality of the herbs is changed. So they needed to, according to the situation, to do the modification on their formula. So that is called the modern formula group. They have different kind of this group. And for me, I think no matter which kind of group, if you can do the good differentiation, you can find out what really happened in the patient's body, and you finding about the key point about how to switch the body from unbalanced to balance. You can using any method you can use, right? Even maybe you often done a good cushion, they will coming better. That's a fantastic doctor. But even some doctor using about 12 herbs can saving a life. But some guys maybe using about like 20 or even 30 kinds of the herbs to save. But no matter how, they have their understanding. But as a good doctor, if good at a differentiation, then the formula is not a kind of question. You can using anyone you can use.